With a roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Here.
Commissioner Barwick,
Here.
Commissioner Webb,
Here.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Here.
Mayor Absher.
Here. Would you all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, item number 3 on the agenda is our public comments section. Is there anybody here tonight, it looks pretty sparse, that would like to address the council? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to consent agenda, of which we have 2 sub-items, A and B. Would either any of you guys or the audience like any item A or B removed and voted upon separately? If not, we entertain a motion to pass the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to pass the consent agenda.
I second that.
Okay, any discussion or questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Okay, under new business, item 5, looks like we have 3 items. First one is a restated, it looks like, or more of a housekeeping issue with Daniel Tondini on his TIF agreement. And there's just, you want to talk about that briefly, Cody? Make sure everybody know I had a couple questions, so.
So this amendment actually came to us not from Daniel, but from our attorneys. So several of the receipts that they have submitted for Pookie's came in the form of different names on those, and by law, we're required to only reimburse for expenses that were made in the name of the developer. So in order to clean that up, the attorneys sent us this amended redevelopment agreement that lists the various names of the developers, which are some of Daniel's businesses, in order to reimburse for the cost there. There's no new money being allocated here. This is just reimbursing him for the cost that he has accrued on that project.
I'd make a motion to approve ordinance 3759, an amended redevelopment agreement with Daniel Tondini.
I would second that.
Okay, any questions other than, any other item other than what Cody just mentioned there? Discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 5B is a ordinance for us to concur with the other municipalities, or independent of, but all municipalities in the county that are part of this enterprise zone have to agree to what was basically already acted upon by the executive committee, which is to add this land, which is out by Creel Springs. This is the meat packing plant that's coming to Williamson County, and this is adding their territory into the Williamson County Enterprise Zone. There was no objection to this when the board voted on it per se, but it's just required that each individual municipality act upon it. So that'd be my motion to approve ordinance 3760, adding territory to the Williamson County Enterprise Zone.
I'm sorry. Somebody want to second it, or we want to discuss it?
I'll second it.
The only question I had, to clarify, the property that used to be the Four-Star Arena, thank you. Are we also connecting it to something else closer to town? by way of this Exhibit 4B, or I'm sorry, B4.
I saw that too, Doug, and I'm
Mm.
not sure what the mechanics of that
Mm.
are for.
A little confused by that. And I didn't know if it needed to be contiguous with other properties, or they were just adding it
Glenn over there?
into. Okay,
Parcel by parcel, basically.
okay.
And that, I don't know, I'm only speculating because I've not studied that document, but it might have been a separate application, or it might have been land that was at one time promised to be added to the enterprise zone and that hadn't been yet, I don't know. But I don't know that it's anything to do with that same project.
Yeah.
Let me,
Can you try to get Carrie on the phone?
there wasn't a description, or was there a description?
Are you said B4, right?
Yeah, Exhibit B4. It looks like it links by way of Oscar Road. No, that can't be right. 'Cause Oscar Road doesn't go straight like that. But anyway, it links up, looks to me like South Market Road and Old Creel Springs Road. I'm sorry, Route 166, south of the Old Creel Springs Road. And I was just curious what that connecting strip meant and how it played into this.
It might have been an infrastructure improvement that might be necessary to get their water or sewer line to the project, in which case they could claim imperial tax exemption on, sales tax exemption on. But again, I'm just speculating. It's just a strip.
Yeah, it looks like it's just Oscar Road. I mean, I don't think the blue thing is anything.
You want to try to call Carrie real quick and see if you got his phone number? See if we can get that answer.
Just to clarify, and
Yeah, that's okay.
I'd feel better about voting on one side.
Sure.
Makes sense going over to South Market for water and sewer.
What? Oh, here.
Yeah. The connecting strip will be from Market Street along a section line and is 1.35 acres. So I guess that's my question. What's the 1.35 acres for along the section line? We can circle back to that if we want.
I think he got him on the phone, so let's see if.
Okay, all right, thank you, sir. Yep. It does have to be contiguous, so that gets, there's a 3-foot strip that allows that to be contiguous from South Market Road to that property.
I haven't really seen that many of these. I had not noticed that before. I didn't realize that it did. Does that satisfy your question?
Makes sense that it has to be contiguous, yeah. Long as we can, long as it works. I mean, I don't know the rules that are set up for that, but I
Carrie
guess it
does,
works.
so,
Carrie's gonna know anyway.
yeah.
I'm good with that.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin?
Yay.
Mayor Absher?
Yay. Item 5C, Cody, this is just an individual that's within the residential TIF 1 district. It's has made or contemplating some significant improvements to their home, right? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Ms. Neese that was here a few weeks ago to discuss South Market Improvement Committee. This is her application that she had discussed with me around that same time, and so she has made some exterior and some interior improvements to her property, and she just wanted to try and be reimbursed for as much of those as would be allowable under a TIF agreement.
Unknown whether there'd be any tax increment or not, so. Okay, I'll make that motion to approve ordinance 3761 residential TIF redevelopment agreement with Monica Neese.
I would second that.
Any questions?
Mayor, I did see on page 70 of 95, which would be page 14 of that document,
Which page?
page 70, refers to the village. I assume that means the city. I don't know. Just a minor, probably
Yeah, I'm
another
sure.
agreement. About midway down the page.
Which subsection is that, Jim?
First paragraph after
Just above
view,
6 there, yeah.
any violation.
Oh, okay, so. We can just cross that word out and replace, write in city. I'm sure that was a find and replace issue when Jacob and Klein provided this to us, so. Was that the only,
That's the only place
Thing
I
you
see.
noticed
It just
in
caught
that?
my eye for some reason, but I think that's the only place that I see.
okay. Any other objections or questions other than that correction to that one? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay.
Just to clarify, Mayor, and I hate to go backwards here, but the connecting strips out at the mall, is that part of the Enterprise Zone additions as well?
I guess, I'm not,
I think it's all part of it.
I think it's, which section was that again? 5B. You're talking about that triangle diagram type thing?
No,
This
this was the,
30 or 40 pages after that.
yeah, information after that. And
I do not know the answer how, of that question, to that question. I don't know how they connect all this stuff.
because there's a bunch of property out there.
Well, it's all being added to the enterprise zone, so
You think that's part of
I think that's part of that same order.
the 3759 ordinance?
3760.
I'm sorry, yeah, 3760.
Because if you look at them, they're all separate amendments to it, and they all talk about all the intergovernmental agreements.
Amendment 1. Yeah.
There's a bunch.
I was okay with it until Carrie said it had needed to be contiguous. Now I'm starting to question myself here. I would just, we can move forward. I just maybe ask for a clarification on, I'm sure it's in order. I just want to make sure that I'm on the same. Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Where'd Wendy go? Oh, there you are. Okay, item 6A, I'd asked Wendy to come discuss this with us. This little bit involved, not too terrible, but
So as you guys recall, in July of 2020, you authorized the city to retain outside counsel to file a complaint against several defendants, which essentially joined us in the national opioid litigation. A settlement has been reached involving some of the defendants. 3 of the distributors, they're calling them the big Ds. I guess they're the three big Ds, which is McKesson, Cardinal Health, and AmerisourceBergen, if I'm saying that right. And one of the manufacturers was Janssen Pharmaceuticals and its parent company, Johnson & Johnson. So a settlement has been reached with those companies. It's 2 separate settlements, one with the distributors, and then the other one they're calling the J&J settlement. And essentially, it's been recommended by our attorneys, and I would recommend to you guys that we join in to that settlement. So essentially, we need to sign settlement participation forms and send back in. I think it's in our best interest to participate in the settlement. If we don't participate in the settlement, we get none of the funds from the settlement. And the possibility of us moving forward on our own is slim, if anything. So I think it's really in our best interest to participate in the settlement. Now, obviously, this does not close the litigation on all of the defendants we filed a complaint against. So that litigation would continue to move forward. This only settles with these particular defendants. At this time, we don't know exactly how much money we're going to get. It's quite an interesting, I don't know if you guys have taken the time to read any of it, but it's going to be quite an interesting calculation, the way they're going to come up with all of this. I think Illinois is already taking some steps to try to help ensure that we will get the incentive A group, which is the best. So every participating state will get a base payment every year for the next 18 years. But then on top of that, you can qualify for what they're calling incentive payments. And depending on how many subdivisions participate within the state, increases your incentive amount that you get. Incentive A is the best. It just depends on whether everybody participates and a few other criteria that I think the state is already working on. So there's no exact number at this point that I can tell you as to what we will get. And also the forms that we've been asked to sign are a little bit different than the forms everybody else is signing. Our attorneys have created a modified version. So under the settlement agreement, there is a default disbursement of how the money will go, how it kind of trickles down from the state or from the settlement administrator to the states, and then the states to the individual subdivisions. Unless the state and the subdivisions have an allocation agreement. They are encouraging each state to come up with its own allocation agreement between the state and the individual subdivisions as to how the money will get divided once it gets to the state. A lot of states have already created these. Illinois has not yet. So part of the participation form that you're signing basically is we're agreeing to participate contingent on Illinois coming up with this allocation agreement that we agree to. It's also contingent on a maximum of 95% of subdivisions participating in the settlement, which I don't foresee as being an issue based on what I can tell. I think it would be a disadvantage to any subdivision that does not participate in this, honestly. So, does anybody have any questions? Did you guys look over any of it?
I looked over a bunch of it. My question is, what if we sign the agreement that they're asking us to sign, but yet we don't agree with the state's allocation or how we get our money, I guess? What if we don't agree? I mean, we are signing it with the assumption that we're going to reach an agreement with the state? What if we
So
don't?
if the state doesn't come to, and if there is no state allocation agreement that's put in place, and we don't necessarily get a say on that, that allocation agreement will basically be agreed upon between the Attorney General's office and a committee that's made up, I think, of 8 or 9 of the largest counties in the state. They'll put that allocation agreement together. If no allocation agreement is put together at all, then that withdraws our participation in the settlement. We could still participate in the settlement if we wanted to, but then the allocation would be the default as it is set up in the settlement itself, which the way it's set up, the money that, under the default, the money that goes to the state of Illinois, 70% goes into what's called an abatement fund, and then the other 30% is divided, 15 to the state and 15 to the subdivisions. So our cut would be a share of that 15% under the default provision. Now, if we don't agree with it at all, and we decide to withdraw from the settlement, that could potentially be an option going forward, but then we would probably get nothing.
Right.
And unless we can show good cause as to why we feel like our litigation should move forward separately from this, there's a chance that the Illinois Attorney General's office could intervene in our case in the future and release all of our claims anyway. So they've kind of forced some hands
I
in
might
this,
s-
I think. But they're trying to get as much participation as possible, because
Yeah.
the more participation,
Right.
the more money the state and everybody else gets.
Any idea on the timeline of when this may happen?
So the first payment has already been made, and it's sitting in an escrow account. Right now, it's in the period where they're waiting to see how many subdivisions are going to participate. I think they gave about 120 months, so sometime in January, I think, is when they're gonna find out whether the level of subdivisions joining meets the criteria for everything to move forward. The second payment is scheduled for July of 2022, and then the yearly payments thereafter will come from the defendants in July of 2022. It then goes through a process through the settlement administrator for how it's dispersed to each of the states, and then from there, it's per our allocation agreement that we come up with Illinois as far as how we get our money.
I guess the part that I think of, or that bothers me is when the state gets the money, how quickly it's released to the other subdivisions, to the different subdivisions.
Right.
Historically, they don't have a good track record. And that's the part, I guess, that concerns me, and I was just trying to figure out a way that we could not really guarantee, but up our stock in getting the money on a timely basis. Because I've seen money coming from the state sometimes takes 2 or 3 years to get, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that to happen.
There's nothing in the settlement itself that guarantees money within a certain time frame once it's allocated to the state. There's a time frame for when money, once it's paid by the defendants, has to get to the states.
Right.
But once it gets to the state, there's nothing in the settlement itself. It just all depends on the allocation agreement.
Right.
So I would hope that that's something that would be spelled out in
Yeah.
the allocation agreement that Illinois comes up with.
Yeah. Okay.
So you said that a deposit has already been made to the state. Do we know how much that is, or what percentage that?
It's just the initial payment, and I probably got it in here somewhere, has already been made. Let me see.
Has it been made to the state or just been put in escrow for the states?
It's been put in an escrow account for the states. It's not actually been paid to anybody yet. They're waiting to make sure that enough are going to participate before they actually pay anything out.
And they're shooting for 95%?
Well, under our modified forms that our attorneys have prepared, the way it reads is that our participation in the settlement is contingent upon at least 95% of the litigating subdivisions in Illinois also participating.
Okay.
So if less than 95% of the subdivisions in Illinois choose not to participate, then we would not be held to that form.
Okay.
And just so you know, if we do proceed with this, every state is guaranteed incentive A for at least the first 2 years.
And just for clarification, this cannot come back on the city as far as either the state or these attorneys saying, oh, we didn't get what we thought we would, and now you owe us X number of dollars.
Correct. So the way they've set this up, you do not have to be a litigating party to also be a party to the settlement. So if you are a city or a county or a township that did not file a complaint and actually become a litigating party, you can still choose to participate in the settlement and get a cut of the funds. So what they did, because they felt that it was unfair for all of the litigating participants who would then have to give a cut of their damages to pay their attorneys, Whereas you had all these other entities that were not litigating parties, but they don't have to pay attorneys, and they're going to get a cut of money. So what they decided to do and what the defendants agreed to is they put money in a separate pool, basically. They set money aside in a separate fund that is just to pay attorneys' fees. Private attorneys, attorney generals, any other outside counsel, it's just to pay the attorney's fees. And there's a process that's going to be set up for the attorneys to be able to apply to have their fees paid out of that account. So the money that the city of Marion gets directly, we will not have to pay any of the fees to our attorneys directly out of that. They will get paid through that separate account.
Any other questions of Wendy? Okay, what's your pleasure?
I would make a motion, we execute the opioid settlement participation documents. If it's need, does it need a motion like that? So, yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland.
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Okay, under commissioner reports, Jim, we'll start with you tonight.
Not a lot to report, but I will like to say that we finished the fall cleanup, and appreciate the
Thanks, Wendy.
street crews that participated in that and helped out, and all the residents that was patient for us to come by. So that all went well. We appreciate that. Other than that, we're trying to finish up some projects before winter with sidewalks and some crossroad tiles. So trying to get all the sidewalks done before Thanksgiving, so nobody's wading mud to get to somebody's house. So as far as cemetery, all is good out there, just getting ready for winter out there. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Steckland.
All right, from the water department, we had, since last meeting, we repaired 5 water main breaks, updated 12 services, repaired 12 water meter barrels, installed 5 new taps. Demolition, if you've been by the water treatment plant, has started on the old plant. There was once a time when Marion treated their own water before moving it over to Red Lake. So once that building's removed, the next phase will be to repair and replace the old pipes that used to feed water to the citizens of Marion. So that's all going on over there. Some upcoming events around Southern Illinois who are fighting cancer. Taco John's will donate 50% of their proceeds from your order when you show the flyer, which is that flyer, which will be on our website, I'm guessing. From 5 to 7 p.m. on Thursday, December the 2nd. Donations will help continue offering financial assistance, comfort kits, and patient advocacy to families who are undergoing treatment in Southern Illinois. So join them on Thursday, December 2nd from 5 to 7, and tell them you're supporting that. The other one is from Connect 360. They're presenting Hands to Toes Drive, so that is a sock and glove drive. This, again, will be on our website. You can drop off at the Boynton Street Center and also at the Marion Elks Lodge on South Market. Pickup date will be December the 11th from 9 to 12 at both locations. And you can donate gloves and socks and money. So all are accepted. So that's a great cause there as well. Second meeting of the month means we have water department trivia. So this is a really good one. This is a good one. So question, if you have a 12-inch water line and a 4-inch water line both going to the same house, which water line would have the most pressure?
Ooh.
Same.
I'm going to say 4.
4. So we got 2 4s and a same? What say ye, Mayor? 4? Commissioner Barwick is correct. They would have the same water pressure.
Just more volume.
Different volume, but same water pressure. So sometimes people talk about low water pressure in their home. It's not the water pressure, but it's the water volume that's the problem. Think of it like this. If you have a 2-inch water meter and a 2-inch water line going to your house, you'll have more water volume. So when you take a shower, you feel like you have more pressure, but you really have more water volume coming through. So there you go. Also, reminder that City Hall will be closed on Thursday. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
And
And Friday. And Friday. Sorry. That's okay.
We ain't
all I
working
have.
Friday. We ain't working Friday.
Mr. Barwick.
The only thing that I have, I want to remind everyone, if you're interested in a pet for a Christmas gift or whatever, we have cats and dogs available. Please contact Animal Control and see what we have to offer. That's all I have.
Mr. Patton?
I don't have anything from the treasurer's office, but along John's comments, Thanksgiving obviously is this week. We, as a community, have a lot to be thankful for. So say a prayer thanking the good Lord that we're in the position that we're in.
Okay, I don't have a report tonight. Anything else to come before the council under item 8, miscellaneous? Okay, anybody have a need for a closed or executive session tonight? I do not. Okay, hearing no miscellaneous or no executive session, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I would make a motion that we would adjourn.
Second that.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay?
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.